Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is part 2 of my little Illfest series. I'm gonna show you guys how I DIY'd a lot of my stuff that I took with me to the festival. I ended up bedazzling my hydropack. I also show you guys how I added beads to my shoes, which I actually didn't end up wearing for day 3. After day 2, I was just pretty much exhausted. It was really hot and most of the time I was just uncomfortable with my outfits because I over accessorized. So for day 3 I decided to just go comfy, so I didn't end up wearing my neon green bat outfit that I showed you guys, which is okay. I mean, I can always use it for another festival or another rave. I know next time that if I go to a 3-day festival after day 2, I'm just gonna have to bring a comfy outfit because I'm not gonna be able to do it all over again for the 3rd time. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you guys how I added the beads to the shoes. I'm also gonna show you guys how I made 2 of the skirts that I actually didn't end up wearing. Unfortunately, I still did really good with showing you guys how I actually make everything. That's why I'm gonna keep all of the footage in this video, because all of the instructions still are the same to what I normally do. I'm gonna show you guys how I added all of the candy beads to the perlers that my friend made me. So my friend made me 3 perlers and they came out so cute, and I show you guys in the video how I make those necklaces. Without further ado, let's just get started. Okay, so we have our hydro pack here, and then we have all these silver stars we're gonna use. I also have these little iron-on patches I'm thinking of adding on the hydro pack. And then I also have some fabric glue to make sure that it's actually secure. I'm gonna kind of see where I want to put all of these stars at. Like I said, I also have these little iron-on patches, so I might actually start with these. So these are iron-on stickers, but I'm not gonna iron them on. I'm just gonna take the sticky part out and just put it on the fabric and add a little bit more of the adhesive so they can stay on. I also have these letter stickers. I'm thinking of putting my name on here. I feel like that would be kind of cute. I just don't really know if I'll like it. I'm gonna go ahead and do this first before I add the stars to see how it looks. So this is what it looks like. I kind of like it, so I'm gonna keep it like this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add all the stars. I'm gonna add a little bit around the whole patch, just so it can be extra secure and doesn't fall off during the rave. I'm thinking of putting one in top and then one on the bottom. Okay, cute. I'm gonna do the same with this one, and then we're gonna add the 7000 glue. Now we're gonna kind of see where we want it. It's looking cute already. I'm thinking I might actually keep doing the stars going down, just because I have 3 more stars, so it would look kind of good going down. Perfect, that looks really good. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. I went ahead and added this star in the very bottom. I'm gonna actually glue down the letters because I feel like they're gonna just fall off, and then I'll come back so we can start putting the silver stars. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and add a bunch of these all around. I'm thinking of kind of adding some of these clear ones just to kind of give it some contrast. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some of the glue. I actually found these little tweezers and it'll be so much easier for me to put it on there. I'm thinking for this one, I'm gonna put it around here. Oopsies. Like that, and then I'm just gonna press down. And yep, that's how it looks. I'm gonna go ahead and add a bunch everywhere else. Now I'm gonna do these fuller stars. These tweezers are definitely helping me a lot. And this one I'm gonna add right here. I'm gonna go ahead and finish doing the stars all around, and then I'll come back and show you guys the finished result. This is what it ended up looking like. I really liked how the stars came out. The placement was perfect and it matches the bag perfectly. I also added this little labubu on the left side. It looks so perfect and so cute. Now I'm gonna show you guys how I added these fairy lights to my hydro pack. So first I untangled all of them and I added the battery pack inside, and I kind of just added the fairy lights through all the little holes that the backpack had, and this is how it ended up looking like at the end. It looks so cute. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and make my purple skirt. So I actually have the perfect skirt that I wore to another festival. It's the perfect measurement for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this as a pattern. I'm gonna go ahead and lay this flat, and then I'm gonna put this on top of this fabric and then cut along the sides, and then from there we'll have the perfect pattern, and then we'll just sew everything together, and then we'll have the perfect skirt. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how I do all of that. I might do like a little voiceover or something. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here I'm spreading out my fabric and I'm making sure it's all even. I'm laying down my skirt and so it's easy for me to cut it. And I'm also giving myself enough seam allowance to be able to fold over and sew it together. And just like that, you have the perfect pattern to create a circle skirt. So now that we have our skirt cut out, I went ahead and took out all the materials that I'm gonna need. So first I grabbed this elastic. I'm actually going to show you guys my previous rave skirt that I made myself. This was actually one of my first ever projects that I did that was like a full rave outfit. I actually wore this to Wicked Oaks and it's probably one of my favorite things I've ever made. I put so much work into this. I had a vision and I literally created exactly what I was envisioning. This is the skirt that I made. I added these silver stars on the top. This is the elastic cord that I used to actually tie it on myself. I also added this really pretty fringe on the bottom of the skirt. It made it look really pretty and flowy. If you guys haven't seen the picture of me wearing it, you should definitely check out my Instagram and look at it. It looks so good. And then I have some leftover silver star trim that I used on my previous skirt, so I'm thinking I'm gonna add this as well. And obviously I have purple thread so I can match the purple fabric. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my sewing machine. If you guys haven't seen my sewing machine, this is what my sewing machine looks like. One of my friends actually bought this for me for Christmas, and it's basically just like a beginner's mini sewing machine, and this is how I basically learned how to sew. It's super easy to use. I honestly just followed a YouTube video once and then I pretty much got it. I added a bunch of stickers all over the sewing machine. I put my name on top of there. I put a bunch of butterflies, a bunch of lavender flowers, a bunch of mushrooms, and I really love how this looks. I love the little purple accents that it has. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this up, and then I'm gonna show you guys all of the process and everything that I do to make a rave skirt. Here we have the skirt, and I'm gonna go ahead and lay it out, and I'm going to grab my pins, and I'm going to kind of give myself about an inch and just secure it with the pins. I'm going to do it all around the skirt. This is going to help guide you when you're sewing the skirt, and then as you're sewing you can take off all of the pins. So that's pretty much how it looks like. And now we're going to go ahead and grab our sewing machine, and I'm going to go ahead and load up my bobbin and place it in my sewing machine, and I'm going to thread the thread through the sewing machine so I can get it ready to sew on to the skirt. And here I'm just loading up the bobbin and securing it, and I'm go ahead and start sewing all the sides of the skirt. This is how it ended up looking like. Now we're going to sew the elastic to the skirt. So I'm gonna grab some thread, I'm gonna grab some needles, and I'm gonna grab the elastic, and I'm gonna measure how long the skirt is, and I'm gonna give myself an extra couple inches so I can tie it around my waist. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut it, and now we have the perfect length for our waist. And I'm gonna grab my pins and I'm going to secure it on the skirt so it's easy for me to sew it on. I do choose to hand sew this because it is easier, and the sewing machine doesn't really like how thick the elastic is, so I do choose to hand sew it. So I am gonna go ahead and grab my needle here. I do pick a pretty thick needle, and I went ahead and threaded and I secured it at the end with a little knot. and I'm just gonna start sewing it. And this took a little bit of time, but I really enjoy actually hand sewing stuff. It's actually kind of fun for me. And so once it's all done, I'm gonna grab my silver stars and I'm going to line up and see how much I need. And I'm gonna get my E6000 glue and I'm gonna add some glue to each star to make sure it holds on throughout the whole night. I'm just gonna put glue all around and secure them into the skirt, and this is what it looks like. It came out so pretty. Next we're going to work on our sneakers, so I'm gonna grab some candy and I'm gonna take off the shoelaces and I'm gonna start adding candy beads into the laces. So here I added a light neon green and a much darker neon green to kind of give some contrast, and then I started lacing them up, and I wasn't doing each lace. I was kind of doing one lace and then lacing it up and then doing another lace with candy. So I ended up doing 3 X's worth of candy, and I think it was the perfect amount of candy, and I really liked how they turned out. Now we're getting into my favorite part, which was adding candy beads to these really cool perlers that my friend Yoshi made for me. She made me a bat, she made me a kuromi, and she made me a red mushroom. So I'm gonna grab some elastic and I'm gonna start with the bat. So what I did here is I doubled up the elastic so I can have more security so they don't break on me during the festival. And I started doing lime green, black, lighter green, black, and so forth, and this is how it turned out. I was obsessed with how bright these colors were. Next perler we're going to be working on is this kuromi, and I did forget to mention that I punctured a hole through the perler so I can get the elastic through it and added all the beads, and this is how it ended up looking like. I am so obsessed with how these perlers came out. Shout out to my friend Yoshi for making them for me.